From AATH, the Association for Applied and Therapeutic Humor, this is Laughbox, the podcast for laughter and humor professionals. Here's your host, Chip Lutz.
Well, here it is, time for Laughbox, my favorite time of the week, and perhaps yours too. For those of you who don't know, I have two podcasts. I have this one that I do for AATH, and I also have my own called Leadership Happy Hour. And once in a while, I get to talk to a guest that spans both worlds, and that is today's guest, Michele Molitor. We talk about the rapid rewire of your brain. I messed that up saying it within our interview a couple times, so I had to practice it. Fascinating conversation about sometimes how we hold ourselves back, some of the self-limiting beliefs we might have. I know you're going to get a lot of the conversation, so I want you to really enjoy it. Also, a quick reminder that April is Humor Month. I would love to know what you're doing to celebrate Humor Month. You got something you're doing? Email me at chip@unconventionalleader, and I might just share it on the show. So let's take a listen to Michele. Well, hello, friends, and welcome to Leadership Happy Hour. This is Chip Lutz, the Unconventional Leader, and today I get to talk to Michele Molitor. I'm pretty excited because, she's a like-minded person. She kind of looks at leadership a little differently than most people like I do, and we're going to be talking about some pretty cool subjects. So welcome, Michele, to Leadership Happy Hour.
Hey, thanks, Chip. I'm so happy to be here.
Oh, the pleasure is absolutely all mine. Now, for my listeners, if you give them like the hot skinny on who Michele is.
Who Michele is. I am a passionate human being that loves helping others reclaim their confidence, find their voice, and step more powerfully into their work in the world. And what that looks like is I'm an executive confidence coach and rapid rewire expert. So I mess with your mind to help you get rid of disempowering beliefs, negative thoughts that you might have been carrying around in your trunk for a little while that you want to get rid of, that are holding you back and keeping you from being the amazing leader, person, mom, dad, brother, sister, individual contributor that you could possibly be, and have a more joyful life. Because, it's all about doing what you love and loving what you do, and hopefully you get paid well to do it. So
that is so true. So true. I think about my dad, who spent 42 years working a steel mill, hated every day of it. And I was just like, but he had 6 kids. I mean, for his generation, that was just part of life. Yep. Work wasn't about enjoyment. It's just what you did to provide, Yep. So I think in some ways we've evolved as a society.
Yeah, I think we're really blessed to be able to live in a world now that we really can think outside of the box and do things unconventionally, right?
Yeah.
I have to laugh when you see these, literally, God bless them, these kids on Instagram and Facebook and whatnot, and they do crazy, shit around the world. I'm going to do splits in different places of the world, and then they show their pictures on Instagram, and then they get paid well to do it. I'm like, okay, I missed my talent mark there apparently, but whatever works. Awesome, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. It's amazing to me too. Now I want to get into the whole, kind of like your journey into what you're doing now and the whole rapid rewiring, thing, because it's very interesting to me. But before we get into that, I'm just going to just ask a random question just to get our conversation going. So, Michele, if you could go back in time, a time machine, to any year in your life and relive it, either change something or relive it because it was so awesome, what year would you go back to?
Wow. The year I would go back to, that's a great question, by the way. The year I would go back to would probably be like 1987.
Yeah.
1987, I had graduated from University of Florida, go Gators, and proceeded to announce to my family. They're like, so do you have a job? I'm like, yes. As a matter of fact, I do. I'm leaving in 30 days. I'm going back to France, and I'm going to be an au pair. And so I moved to France, and I guess it was 87 or 88. No, it was 88, actually. Excuse me. So in 1988 to 89, I lived in France and did some au pair work. I did some work for a couple different publications and magazines in Paris, doing graphic design and production work, and International Herald Tribune. That was really fun. And if I could go back then as the me that I am now, ooh, boy, would I be having a good time.
Yeah. That's the key. That's the operating variable right there, isn't it? Go back, but know what I know now.
Yes. Wiser, more mature, a lot more savvy with a lot more chutzpah.
Yeah, I don't want to go back as, that person. I want to go back knowing all this. And preferably I would think making a little bit more money that I make now than when I was 18. Yeah.
So. Oh God, yes.
Oh,
working under the table, it doesn't pay very well.
Yeah, but what a fantastic experience for you. I mean, being young and living in a foreign country, be able to experience something a little bit different. That's something a lot of people don't get to do. I mean, that had to expand your horizons so much.
Oh, absolutely. I was really, really blessed to be able to do that. I had studied in Paris while I was in school, and then decided to go back because it just it's my family heritage. My last name is, in French, it's Molitor. It's and so you'll find the name Molitor all over Paris, if you will. And it just felt like home. It really, really did. And I have some wonderful friends from there. And just, at that point, I was like 21, 22 years old and wide-eyed and naive and didn't know much about the ways of the world, but it was a lot of fun in my own innocent way.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. That is cool. Now let's transition a bit, because what you're doing now is a huge leap from Michele back in 1988. So how did you get into what you're doing now? Because what you're doing now it's pretty cool work.
It is. It's fascinating. I love it. I absolutely love what I do, Chip, because every human being is different. They're all like little puzzle pieces. And how do we get rid of the puzzle pieces that no longer serve us and insert new things that are empowering? And let's see. If we rolled all the way back, I figured out I could draw when I was living in France. And so I ended up going back to art school and became a graphic designer, which then led me to being a creative director in web development.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what moved me out here to the San Francisco Bay Area at the height of the dot-com boom in 2000. Hurry, we're going to IPO. It's going to be super exciting. I'm like, I got a golden ticket. I'm going to be a millionaire. Woo! Right? Literally, the week that I started was the week we were going to IPO, and that was the week the market crashed instead. Dope! Right? But I kept going, and about 9 months later, I essentially got bullied out of my job.
Oh, wow.
Two of the colleagues that I had hired really didn't like working for a woman, and they made it very, very apparent to me, and did everything they could to undermine me, and it just destroyed my confidence. And then I got fired, and that just, it shattered me. It really did. My confidence was gone. My self-esteem was in a puddle at my feet, and I had no idea what to do. And my uncle, in all his wisdom here in the Bay Area, he's like, you should hire a coach. I'm like, a what? He's like, yeah, there's this thing called career coaches. I'm like, a what? Okay, sure. So I found a coach, hired him, and in the process of being coached, my whole body was like, oh, this is the work I'm meant to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
So I went on to get trained and certified as a coach through the Coaches Training Institute in a variety of different ways, and started my own business, and I've been doing it for the last 17 years. So it's pretty cool stuff that I get to do, and I've had the pleasure of working with amazing, brilliant, talented people from all over the planet, and helping them, be better at what they are and who they are in the world.
Isn't it neat how sometimes when something happens in our life, and it at the time it seems so tragic, like getting fired, and you're kind of at a low, but it is the catalyst for or it changes the entire trajectory of what you're doing, and you find like, oh, you know what, this is really what I should have been doing all along. I mean,
Yeah,
I see that so many times with people that I work with, that they have these things that they go through, but when you look back, you don't realize the things that you're doing and the things that happen to you lead you to where you are now. And
yeah.
if
I,
if
one
one
of the
thing if one thing hadn't happened, you wouldn't be at this place. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. One of the wisest piece of wisdom I got once was your greatest source of pain is your greatest source of power, right?
yeah.
When you can take those really challenging, awful, horrible situations and use it as a way to, as you said, be a catalyst for your real work in the world,
Hmm.
that becomes the gift that you have to share with others, right? And that is what fuels your heart and your spirit and your soul, right? And
Hmm.
allows you to do what you love and love what you do, right?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well, that is a great story, and one I think that, if nothing else, I mean, people should take to heart, in that, so, whatever you're going through, it's probably going to lead you to someplace better. So
Exactly.
let's talk into or traverse into a little bit into rapid reroute. I got to say,
Rapidly wiring.
trying to get that out of my mouth here. I'm not even, I'm drinking coffee. Rapid rewiring. I can't. I need to. I mean, I should have had a drink. So, what is what is that about? You give if you give me a high level, and then we'll like maybe get down in the weeds a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as I said, I've been a coach for a really long time, and I've done a whole lot of work on myself, as one might imagine, to get out of my own way so I can be the best coach that I can be. And there was always some little thing, some block that I knew was there, but I couldn't quite get out of my own way on it, no matter what I did or how I tried. And so a couple of years ago now, I discovered the work of Marissa Peer. She's a world-renowned therapist, Chip, and her work, rapid transformational therapy, is a really unique blend that combines neuro-linguistic programming, cognitive behavioral therapy, and hypnosis, kind of
Wow.
all rolled up into one. And I did this work with Marissa, and it was so profoundly transformative for me in my life in a matter of weeks, stuff I'd been literally trying to move out of my way for 15 plus years
Hmm.
was gone in a matter of weeks. And I was blown away by this. So when she started training people in her methodology, I was like, pick me. So I've gone on to become trained and certified as an advanced practitioner in the rapid transformational therapy modality, and have combined it with my coaching, because I know the power of coaching, and I know the power of RTT, as we call it for short.
Hmm.
And so the two together is what I call the rapid rewiring process, right? Where we start with what is essentially a 2-hour hypnotherapy session.
Hmm.
And then we follow that up with 3 1-hour coaching sessions as a way to help people get at the subconscious beliefs that are holding them back, fears, anxieties, all sorts of negative things that they've been carrying around. They didn't even necessarily know that were in there in your subconscious.
Hmm.
And then the coaching then helps them process that consciously and put new powerful strategies for success into place inside of a 30-day period. So it's much more rapid than traditional therapy or coaching. What I could use previously, what would be a 6 to a 12-month coaching engagement, and now I can do in 30 to 90 days.
Well, two things that you just said there that resonated with me. One, that you said it several times. You had to get out of your own way. I mean, I can't think of how many times in my life I've been in my own way. I've been my own biggest barrier to my own success on moving forward, professionally, but also personally in my personal
Mhm.
relationships. Second thing that you said in there is like on the like the fast track with the way you've combined all this, where it's better than I wouldn't say better, but faster than traditional therapy. That it's almost kind of like the how people want things now. They want to, kind of like hot now. They don't want to, wait for 2 years to see some kind of change. They want things they want to see immediate changes. They're looking for ways to make a positive impact for themselves and in their lives. Like not now, not tomorrow. So that's pretty cool that you're able to take all that and, put it together to help people.
Yeah, it's so rewarding, Chip. I can't even begin to tell you, because I'm a horribly impatient person. So like, better faster, stronger. How do I get out of my own way faster?
Right.
And I can't even tell you how many different modalities and things that I've tried and things I've certified in and this, that, and the other thing, all again to create who I am in this moment now. And it's such a powerful way at getting at those limiting beliefs that are buried deep oftentimes in your subconscious. You don't even know they're there. You just know that something's not right. Right. And so this process, the rapid transformational therapy, it enables me to actually have essentially a conversation with your subconscious, because your subconscious remembers everything that's ever happened to you. Uh-huh. So I can have a conversation. We can get at the root cause of a fear or an anxiety, emotional issue, or even a physical issue. And literally rewrite the script and rewire your brain with new thoughts and empowering beliefs. Because part of the session, what I'm doing is I'm not only am I going in and having a chat with your subconscious and getting at that root cause, but then I'm taking everything that I've learned from the client through our dialogue and my intake forms and stuff, is to then I create a customized recording for them called The Transformation. And their homework is to listen to that recording every day for at least 21 days. Because your brain likes repetition, right? So the more you think a thought, the more true it becomes for you. So if you keep telling yourself, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I don't deserve this, I don't deserve success, then your brain goes, oh, okay, right? But if you tell yourself, I am good enough, I'm powerful, I'm confident, I can achieve anything I choose, then your brain gets on board with that too. So the recording then lays down new tracks, if you will, literally new neural pathways in your brain that then become the new familiar versus the old familiar of not being good enough, not something.
I was going to ask you, it makes absolute sense. Because I was going to ask you, because old science would tell us that, by a certain age, you had so many brain cells, and you are who you are. But new science tells us that we're making new neural pathways up until the day we die. That constantly, and that we can create those new things. So that's what I was gonna ask you, is that if that was part of the whole process. Now, on the conversation with the subconscious, is that done during the whole hypnosis process? Because I would think that if you were having a conversation with me, then I would be kind of like in my own way, and having a conversation with you, that it would have to be a little bit different venue in order to really talk to the inside of my head.
Yes, absolutely. So
to speak.
I do all my work virtually over Zoom, which enables me to work with folks all around the world. And it's just a matter of listening to my voice, Chip. And so I have a particular way that I hear and I obey. I take you down a lovely set of stairs, and your eyes are getting heavy, droopy, drowsy. And essentially, by listening to my words, you're able to drop into a very relaxed alpha brainwave state. It's kind of that half awake, half asleep place that your mind goes to. Like, when you first wake up in the morning, you're kind of still remembering your dreams, but you're kind of already thinking about your day. Mm-hmm. That's the place I'm talking about. And so your critical judging conscious mind takes a nap and allows me to speak to your subconscious mind, which is always listening, no matter whether you're awake or asleep.
Okay.
Right? And so as we turn the critical judging mind off, it's much easier for me to be able to access those subconscious thoughts. So I essentially ask you some questions, and I take you into this really relaxed state that then enables us to ask your brain, what's at the root, the cause, the reason of this particular issue, right? And your subconscious, which remembers everything, will bubble up to the surface the information that you need to have, right? Here's several different memories around this particular topic. And then the client is then literally able to kind of connect the dots between the various scenes or events or memories that come up, and helps them understand, okay, I'm having this issue now and these memories came up. I can see how those events created this issue. So let me give you an example. I had one client that I worked with who had chronic migraines, and she'd been having them her whole life. And in the regression piece and hypnosis, we went back to when she was like 3 years old. And unfortunately, her mother was an alcoholic and had another baby, and basically put her as a 3-year-old in charge of her little sister.
Oh my Lord.
And, 3-year-olds can't take care of themselves, let alone another small human being.
Right.
And so this created great anxiety for her, and her body's way of being able to shut down was to get a migraine. Right. So then she could actually sleep because she became hypervigilant, worrying about her sister. And so that became the well-worn track as a 3-year-old, right? And that just becomes a familiar pattern. So your brain likes what's familiar and rejects what's unfamiliar. So that just happened to be what was familiar to her. Oh, I'm anxious. When I'm anxious, I get a migraine. Boom. Right. So this carried through her whole adult life and got worse actually after she had her own children. And so in doing this process with her, she was able to see and understand, I created that belief that I needed that to protect myself when I was 3. I'm not 3 now, I'm 48. I can let go of that belief. And she rewrote it, and the severity and frequency of her migraines went from a 10 down to about a 2. So
that is fascinating. I mean, like I'm not unfamiliar with the whole mind-body connection, as far as like in overall health and overall, how, your attitude, affects, your overall health and how things go. But I never really thought about it on kind of a sub level on how, some of the things maybe that we're not really thinking about really affect our overall, in essence, sometimes our overall health or our overall success. I mean, that's just really kind of a mind-blowing thought for me right there.
It blows my mind every time. I could tell you story after story after story, right? And another client who came to me, she's like, I'd really like to grow my business. I get to this $100,000 mark, and then I seem to self-sabotage, and I can't ever get beyond that. And and then I get this horrible bout of IBS, inflammatory bowel syndrome. I'm like, wow, that sounds horrible. Maybe we should get rid of that. She's like, oh yeah, that'd be great. I'm like, okay. So we did an RTT session, and what came up in the regression was she was afraid. She had a deep fear of being too powerful because she thought she would abuse the power.
Really?
And so her body literally would shut down. And so we created her custom recording. She started listening to it every day. And on day 22, she emailed me and she said, yesterday was day 21. I've been listening to my recording every day. Today, I had my biggest client meeting ever, and my body is completely on board. The fear response is gone, and my IBS is complete.
That is awesome.
I was like, wow, that's really powerful, right? And then I reached out to her like a month later to get a testimonial. She's like, what did we talk about? Can you remind me? Like it had literally left her psyche because it just left, right? She's just like, oh, I can be that powerful. There's nothing bad going to happen because I trust myself, right? So it's really cool how powerful our minds are. And when we realize that we can take back our control, right? Because our fears are essentially just trying to protect us, right? It's that fight or flight mechanism, right? It's your amygdala, and your amygdala is just there to keep you safe. I like to call her Amy. Amy's your amygdala, right? She's a little lizard lady who lives in your head.
Hey, Amy.
Amy. Yep. And that's her sole purpose, is to keep you alive and on the planet.
Uh-huh.
And so sometimes Amy gets a not so great, right? And she wants to protect you, but in ways that actually harm you. But she doesn't know that. And so you just have to like retrain Amy, like, Amy, I got a better job for you. You're like, oh, okay. As long as she has a job, she's happy.
And we'll be right back with that interview with Michele. But now it's time for Fun Facts. Fun Facts is where I share facts about humor, laughter, sometimes the absurd. But this week, since we're talking about the brain, I thought I would share a brain fact. And this comes from healthline.com. And it's about dreams. Dreams are believed to be a combination of imagination, psychological factors, and neurological factors. They prove that your brain is working even when you're sleeping. Sometimes when I go to bed, I'll be thinking about a problem, and then when I wake up, it manifests. There's the answer right there. If you got a fun fact that you'd like to share, shoot me an email. I would love to share it on the show. You can reach me at chip@unconventionalleader.com. Now, let's get back to Michele.
Now, let me ask you this. All right. No one, I understand everybody's an individual. Everybody has their own specific memories in their past that might, factor into their the stunting of their growth. However, in your work, are there any common themes that people, because of what I heard you say with like that person, she had a fear of success. Is that a common theme, or fear of failure? Are some common themes that a lot of people deal with?
Yes, there are common themes. And I call myself an executive confidence coach, right? Because a lot of people have issues around their confidence, which impacts their success. So it can be a fear of success or a fear of failure. But that's really just the surface level, Chip, right? If you go down to the base level, a couple levels down, what's really the common thread is people feeling that they're not enough, or that they're different, or something's not available to them. Love's not available to me. Success is not available to me. I'm different. I don't fit in. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not something enough.
Right.
And it usually boils down to one of those three underneath all the other layers.
And what's amazing is probably that they see themselves so much different than other people see them, that the other people might not see that whole facet of themselves where they're thinking that they're not enough of something, but somebody else might say like, no, they got it all going on. They got everything. Yeah, they got it. I wish I had all that.
Yep. No, it's fascinating. I've worked with some amazing, brilliant, talented people who are very, very successful, built multi-million-dollar companies before they were 30, but still had that deeply ingrained limiting belief that they weren't good enough, that they couldn't love or accept themselves because of the training that they got as a kid, right? The beliefs that were implanted in them as a kid by adults in their world, right? And so and sometimes those repetitive thoughts or those repetitive messages that we get as a kid, they're over and over. Oh, you're crap. You're this, you're that, you're no good, whatever that might be. But it also can be very benign things that someone said in passing to you. But as a 3-year-old or a 5-year-old, you heard it and it stuck, and you made a decision about yourself because of that comment.
Right.
That then becomes the driver for the rest of your life, and you don't even know it because you're only 5 or whatever age, right?
Yeah, that's amazing. Because what's funny, as a parent, I have 4 kids, all right? And so they don't come with instruction manuals. So, and you realize when you got kids, like we're all just trying to figure out as we go along, and that, thinking back on like their lives, it's like, did I do this right? Did I say this right? And hopefully I didn't implant too many of those bad seeds in their psyche where, those things are holding them back.
Well, the thing to remember, Chip, and I say this to all the parents out there, is that you have to trust that you're doing the very best that you know how to do at any given moment. Because no, you didn't get an instruction manual and you're kind of making it up as you go, right?
Yeah.
Right? So the best that you can do is to be mindful of your impact, to think about what is that positive impact that you want to create for your children, and do your best to do that in each and every day. And that sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't work. And so having self-love and forgiveness as well is important, because we all have bad days, right? Something happens and that, that last straw gets broken and you're like, bah! Right? And so just, being more mindful. And so that comes back to, taking time to know yourself, right? To understand what your buttons are, what works for you, what doesn't work for you, what are your core values, the things that drive you and move you through the world each day. Because when you're more familiar with that, then it's much easier to make more conscious decisions about the words and the deeds and the actions that you do and say around your children and around other people in general.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's kind of funny with my 4 kids. One day I posted on Facebook, the first pancake never turns out the best. And my eldest daughter posted back, that better not be about me. And I was like, it's not. It is not about you at all. Not about you at all. It's just
really just about the pancake, darling.
I was making pancakes and it didn't turn out good. It was not about you, my love. Not at all. Now, so, I like the whole recording thing that you do with people for the 21 days to help them kind of like create some new pathways in their brain. What are some other positive interventions people can do to build their overall confidence?
Well, the first step is starting to notice what is the conversation you're having in your head with yourself. Mm-hmm. If you're telling yourself, oh, I can't do this, I'm not confident, or who am I, or apologizing for everything that you do, it's like, okay, is that really serving me? No. Okay, what can you tell yourself instead? Well, I am confident. I can do this. I'm capable. I can figure it out. I might not know right now, but I can figure it out. There's always our friend Google. Right?
The Google, yes.
The Google. Yeah, so being mindful of your own words that you're saying in your own head.
It's amazing to me. Like I think about my own internal dialogue sometimes and how negative it is. I mean, I will say stuff to myself that I wouldn't say to my worst enemy, and you'll replay that stuff in your head. And I have to catch myself sometimes and just, almost like do a mental internal smackdown. It's like, hey, what are you doing there? I mean, no.
Pause, reboot.
Yeah, you need to, like shift this a little bit. I mean, I tell people that all the time, but then it's still for myself, I find myself doing the same thing.
Well, here's a little exercise to help with that, Chip, right? I'd like to think of it as, are you above the line or below the line? So if you think of an iceberg, right? There's the part of the iceberg you see above the water line, and then there's the part of the iceberg that's below the water line. And below the water line are those negative feelings, whether it's boredom, frustrated, depressed, angry, suicidal, right? Mm-hmm. All the way down to the bottom, or above the line, which is I'm mildly content, I'm happy, I'm joyful, I'm blissful, I'm just love, right? Mm-hmm. And so you get to notice at any point during the day, where are my emotions? Are my emotions above the line in a positive space, or are they below the line in a negative space? And I've had clients do this and they'll report back, oh my gosh, my thoughts are like 95% below the line. I'm like, okay, great to notice that. Now what do you want to do with it? Right? What do you want to shift so that you feel more empowered versus disempowered? Because all of those negative beliefs disempower you. Right? I can geek out on the science of this all day, every day, Chip, right? So if you look at your body, right, it's 65% made of water, right? And so there's these cool experiments that were done by a Japanese scientist, and the book he wrote is called The Hidden Messages in Water, right? And essentially he took positive words and put them on water, and then he took negative words and put them on water, and then he froze the water and looked at the crystals under microscopes. And then the negative words and the negative intentions that were put on this water formed really ugly um, grotesque water crystals versus the ones that had positive intentions of love and peace and joy were these beautiful, beautiful snowflake structures.
Right.
So when you come back to what are the words that you're telling yourself, you're literally creating negative soup that your body is swimming in. All the 50 trillion cells that are in your body are swimming in this negative soup, or it can be swimming in positive soup.
Right.
So what do you want your body to be made up of? And then you can, extrapolate from that the positive or the negative implications that has on your health and your well-being.
Now you're ready for me to blow your minds. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm familiar with that study. And the reason is because my mom, who's 82, she teaches healing touch and she teaches Tai Chi. She's, always been, she, as a nurse, she, belonged to the Holistic Nurse Association. This woman writes positive words and puts them underneath the water that she keeps in her refrigerator.
Nice.
Just for that reason that, and at 81, she was having some ankle problems. So she went and got a tattoo on her ankle, it says, it has a healing word on there, to help in the healing of her ankle. Yeah.
Nice. I love it. I love it. Yeah.
My dad, if my
it.
dad was still alive, he would have shit headless baby, knowing that my mom wouldn't got a tattoo on her ankle. But she was like, hey, I can do what I want to do. I'm a free woman.
That's right. I'm 82. I can get a tattoo if I want. Boom. Like that.
So when you were talking about that, I was just like, yeah, there you go. Yeah, absolutely. I like that, the whole, looking at it from that aspect and being intentional of thinking about what your thoughts are, because it seems to me that a lot of times we kind of we predispose ourselves to like certain outcomes or certain situations because we think about it in a certain way. But if we think about our thinking and, realize that maybe we're setting ourselves up in a wrong way or a wrong attitude, I mean, that's would seem to be half the battle.
Yep. Absolutely. You have to be able to catch yourself in those negative thought loops, because those negative thought loops will take you down the rabbit hole faster than fast, right? But knowing that your brain is super powerful, as fast as you can take yourself down the rabbit hole, you can take yourself up as well, right? You can play the what if up game, right? You can start with, oh, well, what if this happens? And then that bad thing's going to happen. And then you can see how you can go down the rabbit hole, right?
Right. Absolutely.
This catastrophic thought leads to that next one that leads to that next one. But you can flip it and go, well, what if that turns out really well? And then what if then I get that job that I really wanted, and then I get that promotion that I wanted, and then I am able to buy that new house that I wanted, and then I may, so you can what if up yourself into a much more positive space.
Right.
And then that, when you get above the line, you raise your emotions to above the line, to those positive feeling emotions.
Mm-hmm.
There's more science behind it, Chip, right? Emotions generate different frequencies, different energy frequencies, right? So the more positive your thoughts are, the higher your energetic frequency becomes. It's just science, right? And so then the law of attraction kicks in, like attracts like. So when you're vibrating at a higher frequency, then you attract more things at that higher frequency, and you attract those to you.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
The converse is true as negative thoughts, and they're lower frequencies. So it's like if you stub your toe, bash your toe on the bed first thing in the morning, it's really easy to have the rest of your day spiral downward, right? Or conversely, you get a piece of great news, and then the rest of your day just keeps getting better and better and better.
Absolutely. That's very akin to say like in my own business, like if I'm always amazed sometimes, like I will market in a certain area and I will get absolutely nothing from the area that I'm marketing in, but something else comes from someplace I wasn't marketing in. And that, I always maintain that nothing always nets nothing, but something will net something that I might, because of the energy that I'm putting into it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That, because I'm putting a little bit of energy in, I might not get something from where I'm really putting my efforts, and, sometimes I do, but, because I'm putting that energy into it, I think it like draws a little bit more into, my overall efforts.
Yep, absolutely.
more results into my efforts. And I think the same thing, would ring true in, your relationships, that, if you're not doing anything, you're not going to get anything back, but you got to put something in.
Yeah. Years and years ago, when I was first learning how to mountain bike ride, my buddy Fletcher, who was teaching me, he's like, so you're going down the single track path, and if you look at the rock, you're going to hit the rock. So don't look at the rock. And yes, that's very true. I would don't hit the tree, don't hit the tree. Boom. Oh crap, I hit the tree. Oh, that's
Right.
pretty, right? And so the same holds true for anything, right? What is expected tends to be realized. So if you're looking for the good in something, you will see more of the good. If you're looking for the bad in something, you're going to find more of the bad. There's this part of your brain called your mirror neurons, and they essentially help you sense the emotions of others around you, right? And so if you're looking for the bad in something, you're going to find more of that.
Right.
And so if you walk into a conference room and you can feel the energy in the room, right? People are in a really good mood or in a really bad mood. And so the person with the biggest energy wins. And that big energy could be negative energy or could be positive energy, right? So as a leader, it's important to remember that your energy has a very important impact. So be mindful of how you want to wield your energy.
Oh, it absolutely does. I would share that with my supervisors, that, the people that report to me all the time, that, their attitude dictates the performance of the rest of the team. That is just a fact. That, if they came in, that they had to, regardless of what was going on at home, they had to make sure that they were, on point for their people, because, it impacted how everything else was going to go, every evolution that we were going to have. So I'm glad that you brought that out, because that's a great point for people to think about.
Yeah. It's a subtle ninja trick, if you will. But when you can, become more aware and amplify your own emotional intelligence, then you can wield your impact more effectively, which then has a positive or a negative ripple effect across your organization.
Yeah. Well, and just in regular life too, sometimes we don't think about the overall impact we have on other people, that, whatever we do has a little bit of a ripple effect on, the people around us. We might not think about it because we're so wrapped up in our own selves, but it certainly does have an impact on all those people.
Oh, absolutely. It always has an impact, right? Our intentions, our energy that we put out into the world, touch people, and we don't even realize it, right? So the more you become aware of your own emotions, your own energy, the more positively you can direct that. It took me a long time to realize that I'm really empathic. I'm very sensitive to other people's energy and emotions, right? Growing up as a kid, I got made fun of. Oh, you're so sensitive. Stop crying, right? And then once I became a coach, I realized, oh, that's actually a gift. That's a tool that I have in my toolbox.
Right.
And it allows me, literally, I can feel people's feelings through the phone, no matter where they are on the planet. I can just pick up on stuff. And so, we all have that ability. It's just about tuning into it, right?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
As a leader, you can use that to tune into the folks that are working with you or for you, and picking up on those subtle cues about what's working and what's not working for them today. Gosh, Tom, I'm noticing you seem to be a little off today. Is everything okay? Right? And just those little moments of compassion can help shift someone's day in a good way. Like, oh, someone sees me, someone cares, someone notices, and that I make a difference.
Right.
And so those things are all very, very important.
Well, that's true. And what's funny in today, you look anywhere online on, Forbes or LinkedIn, I mean, that's what everybody's talking about, is, engagement and productivity. I mean, a lot of it comes down to is just, as a leader, doing what you just said, showing that you actually care about the people that are around you. I mean, people want to know that coming to work is more than just getting a paycheck, that, what they do actually provides value, that they matter as a human being. I mean,
Absolutely.
yeah, I mean, that to me is like the core of what's missing. And you can do all the engagement surveys that you want, but a lot of it comes down just to the care and feeding of our people and being present with the people that are around us.
Yeah, yeah. And it's funny. I'm actually giving a talk later this week on mastering the art of communication and four
Mm-hmm.
keys to employee engagement. And 78% of employees cited that recognition is really the main motivating factor in their career. People just want to be seen and heard and feel appreciated for the contributions that they make. And when you can feed someone's soul that way, they'll be loyal, they'll be hardworking, they'll be productive. But it's when those things aren't there that disengagement happens, and that
Right.
fuels a lack of trust. It fuels a lack of energy. People, you get passive aggressive behavior and complaining and sick days and all sorts of other things.
Yeah.
So a little bit of effort on the part of a leader can make all the difference in how your team shows up and the productivity, and then the rewards that creates, for an entire organization.
Absolutely. Well, I tell you what, Michele, I mean, it has been like such a sheer joy to talk to you on the podcast. I mean, sheer
Oh,
joy.
thank you.
I mean, honestly, I mean, so smart, so much great information. If we were to go, we could probably talk an hour and a half, because I mean, I'm really,
Yeah, I could talk about this all day.
but
I love it.
I try to keep it within like a regular work, the time frame within like what people would normally do at the gym. That's, I usually spend about an hour on the elliptical or so. So it's like, well, I try to keep it within that time frame, because I don't like to carry over to the next day, because I won't listen to the rest. Anyway, so it's been a sheer joy. If after today people want to connect with you, want to find out a little bit more, I mean, where do you want them to go to connect with you and get more information?
Sure. You can always visit my website, Nectar Consulting, Nectar Consulting, like honey to a bee, nectar kind of thing. And I'm happy to have a complimentary discovery call with anyone who's curious about the work that I do and how it might serve them. You can book on my calendar directly from my website. I would also encourage everybody to go to the brain candy section on my website. It's chock full of free resources, articles that I've written, podcasts that I've been on. And I've got 2 ebooks up there, Saying No with Grace and Grit, and Discovering Your Power and Presence. And both of those come with a guided hypnosis recording that goes with it. So you can read the ebook and listen to the recording for 21 days and see what amazing shifts happen for you. And you can also check out my new book that came out called Breakthrough Healing. It talks about several different healing modalities to help you move forward. Rapid transformational therapy is one of them.
Now,
So,
is that book on the website, or they have to go to Amazon to get that?
yes, you can get it both on Amazon and,
You're like,
and
yes,
on the
you can get it
website.
both places. All right,
Yeah.
beautiful, beautiful. I just want to make sure, and then we'll make sure that we put the link to that on Amazon in the show notes, so people can get it direct if they want to get it direct. Because like for me, like I thought our conversation was so fascinating. I want to know more, so it's like, yeah, I want to get that. So I appreciate you sharing that. Now, if we were really at a bar drinking, you and me, and I would give you some kind of drunk dare. But since we're not, I'm just going to ask you a few random questions from my overstuffed Would You Rather book. Are you
Okay.
game, Michele?
I'm totally game.
Let me say it in French. Molitor. I can't say it in French.
Molitor.
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 Molitor. All right. First question of 3, my friend. First question. Would you rather eat a sandwich bag full of lawn clippings or eat one live earthworm?
That's an interesting one. Um, because I like salad a lot. I'm kind of a rabbit. I'd have to go with the grass clippings.
Okay. All right. That's fair.
Slimy things, not my thing.
That's fair. A little dressing on there might be really good. All right. So next question. Oh my God. And I will apologize in advance. Where I open the book to is where I open the book to. All right. Would you rather, as a woman, have a really hairy back or really long, curly, exposed nose hairs?
That's hilarious. I detest a hairy back, so I'm gonna have to go with the nose hairs because I can always yank those out.
You can. All right. Last question. Would you rather always wear shoes that are a half size too small or always have your underwear creeping up your butt?
I'm gonna have to go with underwear because shoes that are too small, that's just no bueno.
Yeah, no bueno. I like that. Well, hey, thank you so much for spending time with me today. It was so much fun and so much great information. I appreciate your time.
Oh, thank you so much, Chip. It's really been a delight for me as well. I love these conversations, and you're awesome. So thank you for doing what you do and all your good works in the world.
Well, thank you so much.
So what'd you think, Michele Molitor? Freaky awesome, right? So much great information. Such a fun conversation. I love conversations like that where it's just fun and I learn a lot. I'm going to encourage you to go to her website. I'm going to put it in the show notes as well as the gamut of free stuff that she offered up. A lot of cool stuff on it, some ebooks, some e-learning. Make sure you check her out. I'm also going to encourage you to go to the AATH website, aath.org. Check us out. Join. Lots of cool people in the organization. We would love to hear from you. If you have a suggestion, something you'd like to hear on the show, something that you did like, maybe a testimonial, hey, shoot me an email at chip@unconventionalleader.com. I'm always happy to hear from listeners. So until next time, this is Chiplet saying, we'll keep the laugh on for you.
This is Laughbox, the podcast for laughter and humor professionals. Laughbox is made possible by a grant from the National Speakers Foundation and is brought to you by AATH, the Association for Applied and Therapeutic Humor. Find out more at aath.org. Be sure to review Laughbox on iTunes. For show notes and more information about today's conversation, visit laughbox.aath.org.